Good morning, beautiful people. Well, it's been a minute. Let me acknowledge that. I apologize. Life has been going and things have been moving, but I'm here. So I just wanted to jump on real quick and talk to you guys about how do you get through the holidays when you're trying to eat the right way. In everybody's house you're going by, they have all of the foods that you don't want to eat. Okay, so very small ideas, but pays off in big ways. Practical advice. So first and foremost, it's okay if you fall off a little bit. Like, don't beat yourself up if you're not following your plan 100% of the time. Life happens, things will happen, and it is okay. But if you really want to know how to eliminate falling off as much, you can do 3 things. First, eat before you go wherever you're going. Whatever you prepare at home is typically going to be what it is you're allowed to eat within your diet, right? Because we're only going to keep foods inside of our house that we want to eat. I'll do a whole nother video on that topic. But eat before you go home. If you eat before you go home, then you don't have to worry about being hungry when you're out and you feel like, okay, well, I have to eat this because I haven't eaten anything, and a little bit won't hurt, and then a little bit turns into a whole meal. You're right, a little bit won't hurt, but you have to allow yourself that cushion to fall off somewhere else. So in other words, if I'm hopping to different houses, let's say for Thanksgiving, I'm going to 2 or 3 houses. Well, if I don't eat before I leave, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to want to eat at that first house. I'll probably be there for 2 hours. By the time I get to the second house, I'm going to want to eat again. By the time I get to the third house, I'm going to want to eat again. So if you know that's going to be your situation and you don't want to eat what's available at those houses because they're not preparing meals specifically for your plant-based diet, for your lifestyle, then just eat before you go home. And then what'll happen is, if you eat before you go home, at the first house, you may just get a nibble of a piece of cake or a slice of pie, okay, as opposed to a whole meal with the meat and everything else. The second house, you're probably not going to be too hungry. And then the third house, you're like, okay, I can wait till I get home. I'm not going to be here much longer. So you have to kind of ration out how much you're sliding. But if you do backslide a little bit, it's okay. The world is not going to end. The second thing you can do is you can bring a dish with you. I know nowadays with the economy and the rise in food prices and all this stuff, a lot of people for holidays are doing potlucks, which means you're bringing a dish with you. And so understanding that they may not eat the way that you eat, bring something that you eat. You can bring a pasta salad, or you can bring a fruit tray, or bring something that you can eat that'll hold you over until you get to where you can eat the right thing. So that's another thing that you can do. And it's okay that you're not bringing what everybody wants. Because again, you're hoping to be an influence, right? With the way that you're eating. You're hoping that that would encourage people to eat at least 1 plant-based meal a day, or cut out some processed foods, or eliminate some meats, eliminate some dairy. You're hoping that people make small changes. So if you're going to a potluck and you're bringing a big ham and you don't bring ham, then are you saying you feel like it's okay to eat ham? It may be okay to eat ham, but not for you. And so again, how they say you vote with your dollar. Okay, well, you spend money on things that you believe in. You put your money in places that you basically feel like it's appropriate. And so if you don't feel like for you eating meat is appropriate, then why do you feel like you should bring it to a potluck? Now, if someone specifically asks you to bring something like that, okay, that's a whole nother conversation. You can, But then you can also take the stance that I just don't purchase meat. That's another video. Not to say that there's anything wrong with purchasing meat, but if that's not something that you eat, and that's not something, you know, you want to put your money behind, then you don't have to bring meat. Bring a dish that you can actually eat. And I'm sure other people will nibble on it too. And if they don't, take it with you. Take it to the next house. bring it again. And that's just your snack, your food. So the third thing you can do to kind of keep from falling off, other than eating before you leave and bringing the dish with you, is you can plan a fasting period. No one said that breaking bread together had to be the only way that you connect with others, right? As a society, we've gotten to the point to where every time we get together, all we're doing is eating. Either we're eating, about to go eat, or we're talking about eating. And understand that food is meant to nourish you. Food is not just for satisfaction and joy. So it doesn't have to be your centerpiece of attention that attracts you to people or connects you to people. So you can have a fasting period. If you know for 4 hours for Thanksgiving, you're going to go by someone's house that's not going to have anything that you can eat, you can just politely tell them, you know, you're not eating right now, or you've already eaten. You can say you're fasting if you want, but you can do a fasting period. Obviously, I'm sure y'all have heard of intermittent fasting and the powerful benefits behind intermittent fasting. I'll talk about that later on too. But you can say, well, you know what? I'm not going to eat from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. You know, just those few hours. And that way, when you're going to their house, you have an excuse not to eat their foods. If people feel like they need a reason, because, you know, sometimes people get offended when you don't eat their food. And you can just, I mean, you can come up with a lot of different things. I'm watching my weight. I've already eaten. I've had my limit for the day. I'm fasting. And none of these things are lies. These are just reasons that you're giving people to justify your choice. But I want you to understand that you don't have to justify your choice. If you say no thank you, that's enough. If no is a complete sentence, no thank you is definitely a complete sentence. So I just wanted to kind of jump on here to share that, because I know it's the holiday time. I know we're going around to a lot of people's houses and eating. I know this is typically the time when people fall off their diets. Understandably so, it is okay. Again, not saying that you cannot eat some sweets here and there or something that you typically don't eat. It's fine. But you have to know what works for you. Are you the kind of person where if you eat one slice of pie, that's it? You've completely fallen off? If you know that you're that kind of person, then maybe you don't need to eat that one slice of pie. I'm not that person. Y'all know I've told y'all before, for a very long time, I've lived by the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, I'm eating a plant-based diet. 20% of the time, I eat whatever I want. And I've stuck to that. I'm okay with doing that. Now, sometimes, depending on how you're feeling when you're eating that 20% of the time, you may feel like, well, you know what? I need to push this back to do 10%. And eventually, maybe you'll be 100% plant-based. And if that's your goal, that's great. But that's not for everyone. But I just wanted to kind of come on here real quick to give y'all that information. Hopefully, you know, that encourages you to not be the one who has to say, oh my God, it's a holiday time, I've gained 20 pounds. That doesn't have to happen. Food doesn't have to be your #1 source of connection to others. The holidays are about time with friends and family, enjoying one another, human to human connection. You do not have to include food as a reason to connect with someone. There is a such thing as good old-fashioned conversation. That is enough. The love that you emit from being around the people that you care about, that is enough. So I hope that helps. Just wanted to quickly say that to you guys. I will be doing another video next week, so you can look for that one. Don't forget to like this video if you found anything in it helpful, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done it. Definitely share this video with someone who needs to hear this message during the holidays. I'll talk to you guys later.